Hello from Bali. This is the podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about racial theory and let's start with the definition.
Let's go to the source. Let's go to the zero, to the bottom. When people started to have slaves, it happens to be in Europe, they like to explain why those people are not same as them. So it was several theories, for example, like phrenology. When you will examine head, I know how to say, череп, bonehead,
Skull.
thank you. If you will examine skull, you will find some выпуклости, впуклости,
Embossing and debossing.
embossing and debossing. So they would explain that some people are dumb, some people are like animals, and some people could work hard and they are happy with this. By the way, to be honest, we should remember North American Indians. They have never been slaved. And the reason is why? Because they were living in special conditions and they couldn't understand why they should work for somebody else and they would die when they would be kept not on the freedom. Неволя?
In freedom, imprisoned.
In prisons. But people from Africa, so-called Negroes, they were used to work on some plantation, like sugarcane, like some other stuff, and like cotton and so on. And they were kept in small ambar, sarai, barns,
Barns or
in
cages.
some
Even.
barns, in pits, and in boxes. They were chained each to another, so they were kept as livestock.
So if we look into the racial theory itself, so it probably means that, depending on our like a physical condition, our cognitive possibilities might be different, and maybe even the way we, could interact with the world, or even we could understand how the world works. Let's say, it could be religious level or whatever, could be different. So what might be the basis for this one? Obviously, you said that might be like a slavery, but maybe there is like another, I would say, more or less scientific approaches saying that, based on the territory that you've been to, you might be like a better hunter, or you might be like a better thinker, or you might be better like a farmer, etc.
To be honest, it's shame on me, but I believe slightly in racial theory, and this is not welcomed by our common science, because our science is saying that people are created by God or by evolution, but they should be equal. But if you will compare people from other countries, you will find that most of the athletes who run marathon less than 2 hours and 20 minutes, most of them would be from Ethiopia. It's okay to say Ethiopia?
Ethiopia, yes.
Ethiopia. If you will see people who win competitions in math, in chemistry, in physics, you will find people from Asia. If you will see who are best players in basketball or maybe in some kind of country music, you will find people from Africa. So I deeply sure that some people are предрасположенные.
Predecided or like a predispositioned.
Predisposition or predecide to make something. For example, if you will see those pictures when you will see who win Olympiad for math in USA, you will find that all those people have Chinese face. If you will see who the best hackers, you will find also people from Asia or sometime Slavonic one. If you will see who is best winemakers, you will see people from Spain and France. So maybe it's about culture, maybe it's about genetics, maybe it's about social conditions, but I slightly believe that some people are predecided to do something better than others. So this is just my humble opinion, but common science says that we are equal and should be treated as equal.
And maybe this question will slightly tap into all of this, like conspiracy theories, etc. So, for example, what I kind of noticed, again, my knowledge mostly comes from the movies, or maybe books, or maybe slight observations. Usually, there might be like a circles of people who has like a power, etc. So this racial theory also might be have like a heavy influence in how they make a decision. Like for example, it could be like a white man club where like they definitely would like restrict someone to join just because like it seems that they not deserve it. So and it seems that those people also might have like a vast access to the scientific researches, etc., yet they would make those decisions. So I do believe at certain point of time, racial theory might be quite convenient when you do want to make a certain decision or you want to support the decision that was made before. So whether this thing still exists or maybe just like you was used as a like exchange coin for like to get to over the truth.
I think that your second opinion is quite reasonable. Now let's remember Bruce Lee. This was Asian fighter, kung fu fighter, and he was fighting also for human rights. If we will remember, we will find that at the same time when he was practicing his kung fu on a lot of amounts of saloons, pubs, and even parks, there would be like announcement: no Chinese and dogs. If you will, for example, remember such film as Green Book, this about a genius piano player, you will know that it was time when some books were published, their color was green, and they were enumerated places like diners, like hotels, like place to stay, to have rest for people who has not the white skin. And if we will go deeper, we will find that even maiden who works for people with white skin, they were not allowed to use the same toilet as owners because they have not such rights. And it is very sadly to understand, but the reason is some people want to be higher than others, and it's quite common in all tribes, in all countries, but some countries could fight with this and they do not exploit people, but some want to have it. For example, if you will see America and Mexico, Mexican people are ready to work hard, but not because they are выносливы,
Endure.
not because they think you endure, but because they have no choices. They have wage quite lower than Americans ones. If we will, for example, see some people from Bangladesh coming to your lovely Dubai, you will find that they have no rights. They live in special ghettos. They eat just their food. They are not welcome to restaurants, and even they would not think to go there because they could not compare themselves as for people who are local.
And yes, that's might be true. Like when we do see the segregation of the people, etc. But maybe at a certain point of time, there is also might be a case when let's say someone would just decide to like combine all of the genetic parts and like create a better human. But I do believe it's still not the case because at one point of view, we do want to like hold to our status quo. At another point of view, we want to like seem to be progressive and try to like combine of the things. But when I was looking into some of the friends of mine or maybe some of the people that I observe, it's interestingly that like when there is like a mix between the nations, obviously like it could be a different variations, but most of the time the results are quite good. So maybe someone was thinking about, okay, maybe I will call this thing selection, but like creating something or generating something that would be compared to the Swiss table or buffet where you actually can like pick up what exactly you want and build a human or maybe society that you exactly like. So how it would look from this perspective?
Yesterday, I have a late night meeting with Indian guy. We were working together in Bangalore. He arrived in Moscow, and I invite him to have a small lunch. And it's take us like 7 hours in total. And we were talking about all of the projects we have done before. And I was again amused by his brain. When I was studying in Kiev Polytechnical Institute, there were a lot of foreign students in my group. There were four people from Peru and also people from Lebanon and from Jordan, Jordan, and so on. And it was very funny to learn their language, to understand how they think, and it's enriched my mind. And it was often that I was dumb, but not them. For example, Raul Curiñapa from Peru, he was trying to help me how to solve integrals. Sole Torres from Peru, she were trying to teach me how to cook some kind of drinks made from corn, kukuruza corn, yes?
Corn, yes.
From corn. And people from Lebanon, they were invited me several times, and I was on some kind of negotiations in East style, and it was quite поучительно. I know how to say. Teachable.
Quite insightful.
Quite insightful. And after those years, I never think that I am better than anyone else. I have a lot of friends from Germany. I was working there. I was working in Japan. I was working in Kazakhstan. And in most cases, they are much cleverer than me. And it's not a sad thing. It's a good thing that I have people to learn from.
And maybe on another point of view, like when there were certain actions where this race or the people were basically under the pressure. So it also might be seen like, for example, in the, I don't know, like maybe United States or any other countries, it seems that those people actually claiming their rights, saying, yes, like we were slaves for this, like thousands of times, now you owe us. And usually this like owe us actually get expanded like to the extent when, it's someone else's obligation to do something better. So whether this racial theory also, being, again, like I'm trying to use this like overused and as the leverage for people who just, like justify, like maybe their laziness, maybe their entitlement to the things that they don't really deserve.
Maxim, I think that in your good question, there is already an answer. I also have right to say that I was offended by some people. For example, Nazis were killed all of my parents because I'm Jewish. It's okay to say Jewish, еврей?
Yes.
Jewish. So my father and my grandmother, they were orphaned because of the Nazis. But we never were thinking about to say to German people, let's pay us some penalty or something like this. But yes, you're right. People from Africa, while they live in America, sometimes say, you should give us like something like a base wage, базовый доход, base wage.
Yes, best wage.
Best wage, because you was enslave our parents. Sometimes maybe it's you have right. For example, if you were owner of something and it was destroyed, and you have papers and you have historical records and you have witnesses, maybe some of those people should be rewarded for their страдания,
struggles or suffering.
For their suffering, and thank you. And this is quite honest. But most of those people just talking. I have some friends. They live in America, and they have black skin, and they sometimes saying that America owns us. And I ask them, do you serve in the army? No. Have you been a doctor? No. Maybe you have been teaching someone? No. But why you think that the country has debt before you when you have nothing to give to this country? But those people just have a firm belief that in memory of their predecessors, someone should pay.
And my last question will be how knowing about racial theory could help to make this world a better place.
Once again, it's shame on me. I believe slightly in the theory, but I want to say to everyone that some people maybe have more success in music, in dancing, in sport, in math, and in chemistry for some reasons. And do not notice this. It would be wrong. But it's not lead us to the thoughts that we are not equal. We should have the same access to the knowledge, to save access to healthcare and something else. So we should know about this. And I like your word. I forgot it, but you used it once in our podcast. It was segregation. We should not allow segregation to divide us again.
And we review the skill of racial theory and how it could be helpful to you. Stay in peace.